What's going on, guys? UJT here and welcome back to the channel. Today we have a very interesting article from the avclub.com on The Little Mermaid and how Disney almost never created the movie and we would have missed out on one of the most iconic Disney movies of all time. So let's get right into the article here. The headline states, "The writers of Part of Your World had to beg Disney to make The Little Mermaid." Alan Menken and Howard Ashman, two of the architects of the Disney Renaissance, didn't even have a cinematic universe to draw upon. Now that Disney is essentially the only studio in Hollywood owning 4 of the 5 highest grossing movies ever and 8 of the top 10, it's easy to assume it's always been this way. But before the mouse acquired Star Wars, Marvel, and Avatar, things weren't going well. Following the Disney Renaissance of the 90s, the studio suffered a string of disappointments at the box office, largely relied on TV and theme parks to stay afloat. It wasn't the only fallow period in Disney's history. The 1980s also sucked, particularly in animation, when Disney couldn't produce a hit to save its life. Disney was so adverse to making a good movie that Alan Menken and Howard Ashman, Broadway songwriters who wrote The Little Shop of Horrors, had to beg the studio to make The Little Mermaid. A lot of people don't realize that getting Little Mermaid producer was sheer guts from Alan and Howard, begging Disney to do it. Paige O'Hara, who voiced Belle in Beauty and the Beast, told The Hollywood Reporter, "I mean, pleading with them, doing all the work themselves, even putting some of their own money into it." Wow, that's crazy. As it goes on to say, at the time musicals were out and Disney didn't want to risk making a movie about a red-haired mermaid that Mattel said wouldn't sell. Despite having the Broadway bona fides, the suits at Disney still didn't trust Menken, the film's composer, to score The Little Mermaid. Eventually, after some begging, they gave him a 3-hour tryout. Disney did not trust Alan to actually do the score, said Andy Hill, then Disney's manager of music production. They thought, okay, he's fine as a songwriter, but what does he actually know about this? They said, "We want you to record something that doesn't have anything to do with any of the songs because that's cheating. He'll continue to write a piece of action music or something like that. We chose for him to score this big storm scene that comes early in the film, and after he got a successful take, he was still very nervous and uncertain about how Disney was going to react. He said, 'What do you think, Andy? Do you think I got the gig?' And I said, 'Alan, not only do I think you've got the gig, I think you're going to win an Oscar,' and he did." Disney would rue the day it doubted Ashman and Menken. The Little Mermaid went on to be one of the year's highest grossing films, winning 2 Oscars and kicking off a string of hits for Disney and its star songwriters. And thank heavens for that. If they didn't make this animated classic, Disney would have no Little Mermaid to remake. Imagine a world where a live-action Little Mermaid wasn't coming to theaters next year. Actually, don't. The thought is too horrible for the holidays. So there you have it, guys. Disney's The Little Mermaid almost never came to be. It took a lot of pushing to finally get this movie done. And man, what an iconic movie. Some of the most iconic scenes and iconic songs come from The Little Mermaid, and we almost missed out on that completely because some of the Disney executives didn't think, that this movie would be a hit and that it would be worth making. But thankfully we got it, and now, like they said in the article, we will be getting a live action remake coming next year, so definitely stay tuned for that. They recently dropped the first trailer for that, so we'll see how that movie goes next year. I feel some of these live action remakes by Disney have been kind of hit or miss. For instance, I really love the live action remake of Aladdin, but I think some of the other ones weren't as great. So we'll see about that, but man, we almost didn't have any Little Mermaid to look back to at the animated film, which would have been a real shame. But thankfully, they pushed on and got it done, and man, what an iconic movie it turned out to be. But in the comment section below, guys, let me know what you think of this article, and can you believe that The Little Mermaid almost never dropped by Disney? And as always, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you are new. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace.